Hi, my name is Noémie Chalon. I am the French delegate for the Digital and New Technology track. And for this Y7 summit, we all propose a very first important policy on education systems. They currently do not reflect how interconnected our lives are and how interconnected they will be. And this is why we propose to deeply reform these systems to include more digital aspects, which entails digital skills, but also digital hygiene, good practices, and know-how, so that everyone can be skilled enough to benefit from all the opportunities of the digital world and industry. Of course, these policies could not exist without a universal access to internet. This is part of the United Nations Secretary General agenda, and we also recommend, to that extent, to provide universal connectivity to all G7 citizens by 2025 and to all citizens of the world by 2030. These two policies need to be jointly elaborated with a strong coordination, and I invite you to read our communique to read more about their implementation. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mojan Zibapur, and I'm the Canadian delegate for the Digital and Technology track. Through our national surveys and consultations across the G7, EU, and Australia, we saw that youth were mentioning time and time again that AI was one of the top areas within emerging technologies that they most wanted to be involved in. Youth mentioned that they wanted to be better informed of the advancements taking place in the field, and that they wanted to be an active part of the future of AI. Therefore, we call on G7 leaders to create a youth council to the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence so that youth can be an active part in the field.
In order to achieve a future of technology that encompasses both innovation and inclusivity, technology industries must be transformed in ways where all individuals can reach their potentials regardless of their gender, ethnicity, or age. We know that the current investment done by technology companies towards women in post-secondary education is drastically low. We also know that women lack the presence of mentors or sponsors to continue advancing their careers in the technology industry. That is why, as a first step, we urge G7 leaders to forge private-public partnerships to provide funding, mentoring, as well as lifelong learning opportunities, especially to young women in post-secondary education.
Empowering the youth means to meaningfully integrate young people in public bodies discussing and deliberating on new technologies. We call G7 leaders to actively promote the establishment of a minimum quota of young representatives in such entities, while pushing private companies to do the same.
53% of young people in the UK are concerned about how their data is being used online. That's why we're calling for the Global Privacy Assembly to be empowered with regulatory capabilities to provide universal, common approaches to data privacy, to create a more transparent and safe online environment for young people and beyond.
My name is Caroline Sigolchuk, and I'm the Digital and Technology Delegate for the United States. Despite the massive control that social media companies have over the lives of young people, until recently they've largely been self-regulating, resulting in a lack of accountability and transparency. As these companies, offices, services, and user bases transcend borders, young people would like to see G7 governments involved in the policymaking and regulation around the exploitation of social media platforms for systemic social harms, including misinformation, disinformation, and cyber harassment. In particular, we see young women reporting unsafe experiences online, a situation which has only accelerated during COVID-19. We call on G7 leaders to balance the freedom of expression online with the protection of the most marginalized members of society.
Hi, I'm Johannes Röder, the German delegate for Digital and Tech. Social media and especially social networks trigger the same kind of chemical reaction as drugs do. That is why a study in 2017 estimated that over 200 million people worldwide suffering from social media addiction. And this often comes hand in hand with other mental health issues. That's why we want the G7 to compel social media platforms to give the users the choice whether they want to use intelligent suggestion algorithms.